I've just seen the lineup for the game today. Okay, interesting decision, Monsieur Arsene Wenger. I'm not too keen on that. I'm not going to lie. I'll explain why. But we're about 20 minutes until kickoff, and I'm not feeling too confident having seen that lineup. But I wanted to do like a pre-match thing. I'll do a half-time thing as well, and then of course the match review at the end. But I wanted to do a prediction. Now, originally, before I saw the lineup, I thought we would do okay today. I thought there's not really much to today's game. It doesn't really mean anything. We're not going to be getting any higher or any lower in the league, really. So it's almost a bit of a pointless game, but it's still a big game because it's Man United, right? And I was thinking maybe a 2-2 draw, something like that, a kind of quite an even game. That's what I was expecting. But having seen the lineups now, Man United going in quite strong. Arsenal playing a very young, inexperienced team with a few experienced players in there. Aubameyang's back in. Mkhitaryan's back in as well, which is good to see. But a full Premier League debut for Mavropanos. Now, I haven't seen him play. I've heard a little bit of a backstory about why we've still got him. When we signed him, it was, he looks good, but we're going to loan him out. It's that type of thing. But apparently, in his first few days of training, he really impressed the staff, and they thought, well, we'll keep hold of him. I mean, he sounds promising, don't get me wrong, like, great, fantastic, we've got ourselves a young player that seems to be, looking very, very good for the future, but really? Starting him against Manchester United at Old Trafford, I'm just not too sure that's a good idea. Look, don't get me wrong, I'm all about giving youngsters a chance. I think that's a fantastic thing for coaches to do. You don't see a lot of managers giving youth players a chance, especially not in big games. And yes, I know we're rotating a lot because we've got Atletico Madrid next week again, leg 2. But, I was just watching the City game. They were playing West Ham away. And they brought on a youngster towards the end of the game. I think his name's Mnecha, something like that. Full Premier League debut. The team's already 4-1 up. Okay, so you bring on a youngster at 4-1. There's no pressure there. It's just go on, experience it, take it all in and just learn from it, and just enjoy yourself, right? Then you compare it to what we're doing with Mavropanos tonight, his first Premier League game for Arsenal at Old Trafford against Manchester United. We could be, setting him up for absolute disaster. He could have a terrible game. What's that going to do for his confidence? I hope I'm wrong, because if he is so good and he's got, this potential that we hear about all the time, then great. Hopefully we'll see that tonight. I really hope so, because it would be nice, wouldn't it? It would be nice to have a story like that towards the end of the season, discovering Mavropanos is actually better than Koscielny and Mustafi combined. So those are my thoughts on the lineup. I think my prediction, I think we're going to lose today. I mean, I really hope not. And of course, I'm an Arsenal supporter and I dislike Man United. I want to win today. But with that lineup, I don't see it. Being brutally honest with you guys, but like I said, hopefully I'm wrong. I will catch you guys at half-time. Hopefully it won't be 2-3-0 to Man United. I don't think it's going to be a hammering, by the way. It's not going to be another 8-2, for example, but I do think that it's just going to be too much for us today. Right, okay, it is half-time. We're losing the game 1-0, but to be fair, I'm actually quite happy with the performance. It's not too bad at all. I know that we're losing the game 1-0, and it's obviously not great that we're losing the game, but we've done okay. The youngsters are doing well. I think that Mavropanos actually does look very good. It's a bit of an odd one because this game doesn't really mean anything for either of the clubs. It's one of those games that you get at the end of a Premier League season where it just feels really kind of dead. No one actually seems to care. But I was expecting us to be doing a lot worse than we are, which, some people will think, well, why would you say that? Why would you say that Arsenal are going to be terrible and lose the game? I'm just always very honest, and I saw the lineup and just thought, nah, that's not good enough. But in fairness, Man United haven't really turned up. I think that they've had, the goal they scored was pretty much the only big chance they've had. Pogba at the start of the game had like a bit of a miss kick. Pogba's been pretty good. I mean, Sanchez, before the goal, hit the post. Ashley Young hit the post with some sort of weird cross. But in general, I'd say we've still been in the game. And Yeah, I mean, I think Ainsley Maitland-Niles has been really good. I really like him. Very technical player, but he's just so... He reminds me of Mesut Ozil a little bit, just that lackadaisical type. He kind of just glides around the field. He doesn't look like he's putting much effort in, but he's really good. I think Mkhitaryan's been good. I think Aubameyang's been a little bit quiet, but he's still, he looks like he could get a goal. It's possible that we will score in this game, I think, because we're getting chances. And it hasn't been completely one-sided like I pretty much expected it to be. I think Man United need to come out in this second half and just get themselves back in the game and try a bit harder, because they can easily destroy us. There's no doubt about it. But so far, so good. I'm actually pretty impressed. I don't think we'll win the game. I still don't think we'll win the game. But I've got a feeling we might score in this second half. It all depends on if Man United come out all guns blazing and go for a second, a third, a fourth, whatever it may be. But honestly, I feel like I owe Mavropanos a bit of an apology. I still don't think it's a great idea giving a young player their full debut in such a huge stadium and a big game like this. But when you really think about it, the game doesn't really mean too much, and it's experience for him. And I think, I owe maybe Wenger an apology as well, because it hasn't been too bad. I think he looks like a good player, very strong, very good in the air, and he will be getting invaluable experience. It's just when you read the fixture, Manchester United at Old Trafford, you don't really expect to see a 20-year-old making his full debut, right? When you've got Holding on the bench. It's one of those things, but ultimately the result doesn't matter, and he's just going to get experience from this. So I'm going to make a little prediction. I think we will score in the second half, but I think Man United will score again as well. It's going to end 2-1, maybe 3-1, which wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be too bad considering the lineup. So we'll soon find out. Here goes the second half, and I'll catch you at the end. And our wait for our first point in the Premier League away this year continues. I'm so gutted that we couldn't hold on for that draw. Although we were still good today, it is disappointing. And although the game doesn't really mean anything, like I've said, it's still disappointing to come away with a loss when we probably could have done a bit better. Having said that as well, I think that had United not won this game, that would have been embarrassing for them. That was not a true Arsenal side tonight, or this evening, this afternoon, whatever you want to call it. It was obviously a very underpowered, inexperienced, young side. The youngest side that we fielded against United since they thrashed us 8-2, and it could have easily been 8-2 once again. But we did ourselves proud tonight, and one player that I really want to talk about is Mavropanos. I was really impressed with the youngster. There was a few moments in the game where he could have easily made a massive mistake. The ball came at him at certain angles, at speed, and he controlled it well. He played it calmly. He didn't lose his head. He was really good tonight. Ainsley Maitland-Niles as well. I really do think we've got ourselves a great player for the future there, and I'm hoping that our future manager, if he was watching today, really takes him seriously when he starts managing from the summer, because I think he could genuinely be a good first team player for us next season. Just a bit more coaching, find his proper position. I think central midfield is the way to go for Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I think that if we were to use him down the left side, left back, left mid, I think we're going to waste his talent. I think he's got a lot to show, and I think down the middle, a bit of defensive work, but mainly going forward with the team, I think he could be really good for us. So hopefully the new manager takes him seriously, like I said. I thought Nelson, I'm mentioning all these young players because they were obviously given a chance today. I think Nelson was a bit out of his depth a little bit sometimes. I think, especially up against Valencia, who's one of the most experienced players in that United side. Really strong player, really quick. I think Nelson, his game is beating people. It's getting past people, dribbling past them. Lots of tricks and dummies and all that stuff. But it wasn't working today. So he found himself having to cut inside a lot. Would lose the ball. He's not very physical. He's a very skinny guy. He's going to get taken out constantly against such a huge United side. They've got some massive players in there with Pogba and Matic in midfield. With Smalling, he's so quick. I hate the fact that Smalling's so quick. Welbeck almost got through in the second half to score. That would have been great, but Smalling's he's so quick and strong, isn't he? And then you've got Valencia. And then even if you get through all of that, you've got freaking De Gea in goal. But quick word on the goal we did score. I predicted we would score. In fact, I predicted it would be 2-1 at half-time or 3-1. Easily could have been. They did have the ball in the back of the net, which was ruled offside, correctly, by the way. But Mkhitaryan's goal was brilliant. I was really, really happy with that. He deserved it. He had a good game until he was taken off. You could tell he had a point to prove today. He wanted to, play well against his old team. And it was a lovely finish. De Gea had no chance. And it was kind of a weird one when it went in. Obviously, I was happy, but I knew that we weren't going to go on and win the game. I just had a feeling. And I don't care if people say, oh, you're a bad fan for thinking that. There's nothing wrong with being a realist. I knew that, seeing the lineup today, we could either get absolutely smashed or we could just get beaten. And I think we didn't get smashed, we just got beaten. It's as simple as that. We weren't strong and experienced enough against a Man United side that had all of their star players pretty much. So hopefully Kolasinac is okay. He has gone off injured in the second half, which, just thinking about that now, could be a bit of an issue because Monreal is going to be playing every game if he's out again. And hopefully that means we don't have to play Maitland-Niles down at left back in the remaining Premier League games. Because Monreal, although he's been absolutely fantastic this season, you want him to be at his best and fully fit, and that's against Atletico. We have to use him in the big game, and hopefully that means he won't get played in the Premier League too much. He's old now, he is. A lot of the Arsenal team are getting on a bit, so it's a little bit dangerous to be playing your top players when they are 30, 31, 32. Every 3 to 4 days, because they just burn out a lot more quickly than the youngsters. It's just a way of life. So hopefully Kolasinac will be okay. Ospina seemed to pick up a little bit of a bump, but he's going to be okay, hopefully. I think Ospina is much better than Cech, so I hope that he starts against Atletico as well. But really, that's where this video comes to an end, guys, because this game didn't really mean anything. We're still going to finish in 6th. Man United are still going to finish in 2nd, but what I really wanted was to come away today with a point, at least, to give us our first away point this year. It's just mental that I'm even still saying that. We failed to do it again. But the real deal is next week on Thursday against Atletico Madrid, so I'm really nervous for that game. Hopefully everyone is fully fit. Lacazette, hopefully on top of his game. Get Mesut Ozil back in there. Jack Wilshere. Mustafi, Koscielny. Oh, God. I'm really, really nervous about that game. Hopefully you guys are looking forward to it. I hope you've enjoyed this video with my pre-match, mid-match and end-match review / predictions, whatever it may be. And I appreciate all the support. The Wolves career mode back up tomorrow. Hopefully you're excited for that one as well. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.